Okay, so this is alpha14 of DoomZ. It's been a long time since I've done an update. Me and Phil took a year out and built a cocktail dispensing robot, but then in the meanwhile I started developing it again from January, so there's been a lot of changes since then. Now, as you can see, I've really sped this up to show you the weather system that we've got. So as you can see, we've got a sun that travels across the sky, also the moon does the same, and the light levels for both the sky but also the buildings around change with it, so you get this kind of nice glow effect and the red sky at night. And then as you can see, you've got the moon travelling across. Normally this would run a lot slower, obviously. Something that you'll notice that's changed since the previous version is the trees. So previously, where they were sprite based like this one, now we've got proper volumetric ones. I'd seen this in some work that Trisk had done over on prodigalgame.com, but we've changed it in that these vary in height and the leaves spawn randomly around it. So they've got three main levels of trees that they can grow to, and the higher the tree is, the more wood you get out of it when you chop it down. You can also then plant them and they'll grow daily. So if I simulate days passing here, you'll see this starts to grow up and you can get through to the third level, which is the one up here. Now if we chop down a tree, we're going to go for this one here, hopefully I don't get eaten. If you chop it down, then you can see the wood comes out and also falls down. Same if you shoot any of the branches, they'll fall off as well. From that you can get wood. Wood can then be used to create fires, which shows another change, which is the kind of fog effect or smoke effect that you now get from burning things. So you can get the same from the helicopter, and you can see it's a similar thing that's being used with the clouds above. I plan to make it so that the clouds change colour depending on the weather, but that's something which will come later. New textures for most of the buildings that you can see there. I've got a couple of show houses of how I'd like to do it going forward. So this is one so you can see in. Put up some pictures on the wall. It's got a little kitchen and things, so I need to do a bit more on the furniture, but it's working. It's multi-level and you can see out to the levels above, etc. Now occasionally you'll come across the crashed helicopters. Crashed helicopters come with a gun and ammo for that gun, so it's a difference from normal where the ammo won't usually match up with the weapon that you're wanting to carry. As you can see, crashed chopper. You can't do anything with the chopper itself, but if you look for that smoke, you're going to get some good loot around there. When you've killed either a person or a zombie, you can go and chop its arm off. Now the arm on its own can be used to attack people, so you can use it to hit people, or if you want to go and cook it, just go up to the fire, use, and now we've got an arm that we can actually eat. As with the rat though, there we are, now I'm sick. So if you're sick you will vomit. You'll need to get to the yeah, there we go. You'll need to get to the hospital and get antibiotics, otherwise you'll die. Now if you hear a howl in the middle of the night, that means that there's dogs coming the next day. Now you can fight them as usual, or one of the other things that you can do is, if you've got a severed arm or a dead rat for example, you can throw it to them. Now what that'll do, they'll then eat that arm, but then they'll fight for you. So as you can see, they're now fighting the zombies. They're not massively hard. The zombies will kill them most of the time, but they are incredibly useful, especially just for getting the zombies chasing something that isn't you for a change. If you see out here, there's a car. Now one of the things for the new version is you've got to gather bits to make your car, so it's always worth checking inside. So there I've got a battery. The car's made up out of three components, the main car part as well, but three components you can pick up. So you've got the battery, you've got four wheels for it, and then you've got the petrol. So you're going to need all three things to be able to drive the car. And the car spawns in a random spot, or based on several random locations, and you can check to see how repaired it is by going here. So currently it has 0 wheels, 0 battery. Great. So if I put in that one, so it's got 1 battery now, 0 wheels. Best place to find batteries and car things are either in the car. Worth checking it first of all. Sometimes it'll spawn with all of the things it needs. But in those broken cars that you could see, which are dotted around the map, and also in these garages, there's also some garages over at the other side over there. Now just be aware that some of the garages have people in. Now if I can just catch that rat, I can show something else here, which is the ability to squish and pick up rats. So you see here, I've now got a wheel, I've got the rat, and I've got some wood. So if I make a fire and I cook that rat, then that's now something that we can eat. Not terribly appetizing, and also there's a chance that you'll get sick. So it looks like I got lucky that time, but if you keep eating rats, then yeah, at some point you're gonna need to go get some antibiotics. And now we have 4 wheels, so that should now be enough for the car. So there we go. So it's now usable. So if we get in it, if we get in it, we're now able to start the engine. Now I noticed that there was only 19 fuel there, so the car's not going to go too long before it cuts out. The car is woundable, so if you're playing it multiplayer and you're in the car and someone hits it, then you're going to have a bad time. Now I'm going to need to be able to get some fuel, and also, as you can see over on the right, I've currently got a broken leg. Best place for it, the hospital, which is right in front of me at the moment. So if we can just get it in there, hopefully there'll be a syringe on the floor, which is the morphine, which you can use to patch up my legs and be able to escape these. So there we are. Yeah, didn't go so well. Outside of the map, the houses that you can see there are actually just held within a skybox. What I'm looking to do going forward is make it so that the skybox is a little replica of the 3 areas, so you're actually looking at miniature versions of the other towns from there. I'm planning in a next version to have a go at growing crops and things. It shouldn't be too difficult. Now I've got everything in for the trees, it should just be a matter of copying that over. So coming up to the petrol station here, there's 2 petrol stations in the game. Both of them are in Old Town. So one over here, one up over there. You can just see it over in the corner of the runway. Looking at petrol pumps, the ones that have the nozzle, down on the floor, that's an empty pump. One that has it up in the air, it's full. You can use it once, so at the moment obviously I've not got any petrol cans, I've not got a car nearby, so there's nothing I can do with it. But once you've used it, it'll drop to that state, but it refreshes at midnight, same as everything. As you can see, that's also now destroyed the car. So when the car gets destroyed, it gets replaced with this brown car. The brown car is a usable one, so you can sometimes get something back from the destroyed car. So I've got a wheel back, but the red car will now spawn somewhere else. So you'll need to find it again before you can start repairing the next one. Going forward, the next things that we're going to be working on are having a look at redoing the whole inventory. That was one of the first things that I wrote, and the coding is really terrible for it, so Phil's going to take a look at that, but it's quite a big job. Cold and hot needs redoing, so the temperature in general changing with the weather, and then that affecting how cold you are. So if you're wet and you're cold, for example, then you'll get then you'll get the flu, and then you need antibiotics. Just needs redoing basically. Also, big thing is going to be redoing the guns. I realised that when I made the ammo types at the start, I did them all wrong, and it's been confusing with even to myself from the very start. But it's a big job to change all of that and to redo all of the sprites and things for it. So that's going to be coming, but that will be a later one. I'm not able to get it into this in time. There's a new website, going to be able to put updates, so I've just been keeping a big note file at the moment with all of the updates as I change it. So I'll put a link to that as well, so you can see the change